I think we gained valuable playoff experience. I think the more years you go through the playoff stretch, which can be brutal, you play in those high-stress games. Experience being down in a series, being able to win 6 and 7 against Memphis, all those things, those different experiences that you have, I think help. And I think we again realize the importance of possessions and how important each possession is, and then you of course I think you always lose, or you learn when you lose too. That we still got a ways to go. So I think we had a good year, and we moved along, and we improved, but we still got some work to do for sure.
Nick, what does this team need to get over the hump? And not necessarily from a personnel standpoint, just little things that you guys got to do to get better to win the NBA championship.
Well, it's a fine line. You get to the end. There's 4 teams left, and there's each. This series is a little different with the blowouts in the first 5 games, but most of the games come down to the end, and it's a fine line between winning and losing. So I think for us is just to be able to try to be better in those moments, and our habits have to be good all season. Our mindset has to be right, and our focus has to be right in those moments, and then hopefully you can be the team that comes out on top.
Nick, what was the emotion on this team like this year in terms of just, like from an outsider's perspective, just one thing after another with the injuries, get everybody back, then it'd be somebody else. How did you guys as a team deal with all of that?
I think it started last year with Russell being out. We never really had any of our guys get hurt, and that was a big adjustment. But I think it prepared us a little bit for what we went through this year. I think the mindset all along was we're gonna have our guys hopefully at the end when it counts, and so we gained a little perspective, I think, last year from going through that, which was good for us. And it was tough, but a lot of teams in the league are dealing with stuff. So I guess it's our time to deal with some guys being out with injuries. But it's difficult. But I think that's part of moving along and experience, and it's all stuff now that we have that we've dealt with before. I think will help us in the future.
I think some people might look at this season and, you obviously had a roster that when it was playing at its peak was as good as any in the league. And to not achieve what you guys said was your ultimate goal, people might say, well, here's another season where that didn't happen. How do you guys look at that? Do you feel that old proverbial clock ticking, or is it something different?
Well, I think that our goal is to win it. Our goal definitely now is to win the whole thing, and when you don't have it, you feel disappointed and you feel like you didn't get it done. I think you can feel that disappointment and also recognize that you had a good year, and you did a lot of things well. I think you just have to be able to have some perspective and realize it's tough to get done, and you have to be able to put everything towards it, and then things have to go your way, and the only thing you can really do is be prepared for the next year and make another run at it.
Nick, talk about the bench. You guys really pulled through when people were missing, and toward the end didn't really contribute that much. What was it like from the bench perspective?
We played well at times. We played with different guys this year a lot. In years past, we've had the luxury of pretty much having 5 starters and then a second group that learn how to play together. We had guys in and out. Reggie be with us sometimes. Reggie be starting sometimes. We picked up Karan halfway through the year, who really helped us. But we had to play. We played a little differently, which was an adjustment. And then in the playoffs, it's different lineups, and usually the rotation shrinks in the playoffs. That's the way it usually goes, and that's what happened this year. So we would have liked to play better for sure, but that's what happened, and we got, like I said earlier, we made a good run, and weren't able to get it done.
How did you view your role as a leader on this team this season, and how do you want to impact things in that way next year as well?
I think for me, I've been here forever, and I've got a comfort level with what I do, and I think people have a comfort level with me, and they know what they're going to get from me. I think my role in the court is going to change. It's changed over the years. I think in the playoffs it changed. It was an adjustment for me to be in and out more so, and have certain games not get in the game. But that's something that I'm gonna have to adjust to, and if it's similar next year, I'll adjust to that. And I think I can bring a lot of value, though. I think just with experience and being with the guys that have been here, being able to help young players, I think I can really I bring value in that. And for me, that's what I want to do is do whatever it takes to help us win, because that's best for the team. It's also best for me. I've talked about that in the past of you need to create value for yourself as a player, and you need to be valuable to the team. You can do that in a lot of different ways. So I think I have a good understanding of the things I can do to help, and try to continue to do that.
Nick, you made that big corner three late in the third quarter out in LA in Game 6. Is that an element of your game that you feel like you need to maybe incorporate more as you move forward as a player?
I think so. I'm probably never going to be like a Ryan Anderson or a guy that's really just a knockdown shooter. But I think that with the way the game's played, the way Coach wants to play, he wants to spread the floor. And if you're not rolling to the rim, he wants you to be spaced to the three-point line. I think he feels like that's the best way to play offensive basketball. So I think it's something I'm capable of. I think we have a lot of sets where the four-man is set in the corner. And what I went into this year, Coach talked to me about it, but it made sense. Instead of shooting a foot or two or setting up a foot or two inside the line like I had in the past, I worked on moving it back. And it is a different shot, but I felt more comfortable as it went on. I don't get a ton of shots, so that's always a hard thing for a bench player, is to be able to hit that one shot that you might get one every 3 games. But that's something I'm going to continue to work on, and I think for me it can help me get on the floor. It can help us win games. So I think I'm going to continue to do that.
Nick, have you thought of next year as your last year of your contract, or last year as a player? Have you thought about next year?
Yeah, I think you start to have those thoughts as you get older. That being said, I also know that things change a lot, over time in the NBA, and it really doesn't do a lot of good to worry about or try to make decisions now when it's a year away. So that's going to be, what I say, next year if questions come up, it's because I really won't know. I won't know until the end of the year how I feel or what the team will want or, what else is out there. So it doesn't really do a lot of good to ask yourself these unanswerable questions. That's the way I look at it.
How does it take you guys to get over the end of a season? Because only one team's going to win the championship. How long does it take to get over at this point?
I don't know. This year feels different. This year's a little harder. It just felt like more of a gut punch last night, probably because of the way the game ended, and we had a chance to go to a Game 7. I think the other years we've been down 3-1. It's a little different scenario, but maybe it's just me personally, getting older. I don't know what it is, but last night was tougher to take than any other year since I've been in. So it takes some time, but we're all basketball players, but we're people who have other things in our lives. So I think just perspective on, basketball is a huge part of what we do, but you realize the world keeps moving and the sun comes up the next day. So over time it gets easier to deal with. So to answer your question, I can't give it a certain amount of time, but by late summer we'll be back working out and looking towards next year.
Nick, will you watch any more basketball? Will you watch the finals, or are you pretty much filled up with basketball? You're going to get away from it?
I'm either or. If I'm at home and the game's on, I'll watch. I'll be interested to see who wins. But I don't make it a priority to sit and watch. I definitely don't watch people talk about basketball. It's something I gave up a long time ago. I think that's that's for fans. It's great for the game, but it's not for players. It's not meant for players. It's meant for other people. So I don't watch that stuff. I don't watch the pregame shows, but I'll watch the games and see what happens.
I thought you were going to be a commentator.
Maybe, but I don't want to watch other people commentate. So yeah.
Derek may have a chance to become a head coach, and you have a couple of opportunities. Wondering, not so much what you saw with him here, but just your involvement in the union, and he went through some pretty challenging experiences with that. How do you think that those experiences might play into helping him be more prepared to go straight from playing to becoming a coach?
Well, I don't know what Derek wants to do. We'd love to have him back as a player. He's very important to what we do. People don't see what he does behind the scenes, but the guy he's incredible. He's different from any teammate I've had. His way he can address the team, almost like a coach, but yet guys don't roll their eyes at him. Like, who's this guy? He feels like one of us. At the same time, he has these abilities that are different than anybody else in terms of leadership. Like I said, I don't know what he wants to do, whether it's play, coach. He could do anything. He could probably run for office. He could do TV if he wants to do that. I just think he's extremely qualified for all those jobs. And I think what you said about his role in the union, to be able to go through that and be leading so many guys in a very stressful situation, dealing with media, talking about things that are mostly perceived as negative every day that people don't want to hear about in terms of a lockout. I think all that experience will be so valuable in whatever he does. So I'm fortunate to have been able to play with him because I've learned a lot from him, and I think all the guys feel like there's a certain standard you want to live up to with him because he does it himself. You see him leading by example, and it's a guy like I think Kevin said in his speech, he's a guy that's done everything, but he's not satisfied with it. So we all took a lot from him. He's been great for us.
Just to clarify, is that kind of what you're referring to? Is just sort of the work that he puts on a daily basis to get himself?
Yeah, it's the work. It's basically the idea that everything he's doing, everything he says, is what's best. Like, in his mind, it's what's best for the team. There's not an ulterior motive, another agenda. He's a very special guy. He's different than anybody else I play with.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep.